Hey, this is Hayden Scott. I'm here with my mentor teacher. Today we're going to discuss the instructional plan for Module 3, um, which was with the secondary student. And her name is Caitlin O'Brien.
I'm Emily Stewart, the Brighton High School special education consulting teacher.
So, for this lesson, the main thing that I wanted to hit on, or the main emphasis that I wanted to use, was on the technology pieces. Um, I used a couple of different activities like the Kahoot game, the Quiz game, Um, and I was really pleased with those because it showed that the students were engaged the whole time. They were excited and they were eager to answer any of the questions that were on the board.
Overall, I think Hayden did a great job on the lesson. He was already familiar with Caitlin because she had been in some of his classes in the past. One of the aspects I enjoyed the most was the questioning throughout the lesson and just the use of the Kahoot and the Quiz activities. I think using those games are great for students and they keep the students engaged throughout the whole lesson.
One of the things, like I said, I wanted to put a big emphasis on the technology piece. But it also gave me multiple opportunities to review with the students. If they needed any clarification during the quizzes or the Kahoot, I was able to give them wait time so that they were able to answer those questions. Caitlin, especially, she was excited to participate in the Kahoot and the quizzes. Um, I think in the Kahoot, she scored third place, and then on the quizzes, she scored fifth place out of 11 students. So for her to be above that average was it was really exciting for me, and I know she was really excited about it. Both of the Kahoot and the quizzes, I've had experience using those before. I've used them in my classes, and they've always been successful because the students do like participating in them.
One area that I do think Hayden could have improved on in the lesson was the timing. He didn't seem like he was rushing through it, but he did run out of time at the end for the exit ticket.
Um, One of the things when I looked at the weaknesses or tried to identify the weakness in the lesson, it was with the timing. I completed the exit ticket, but some of the students weren't able to complete it. I think overall the Kahoot game took a little too long. In total, it had 12 questions, which took them around 25 minutes to complete. If I had to redo the lesson again, I would have shortened the Kahoot game to maybe 10 minutes, 10 minutes tops, to where they weren't required to complete so many questions.
Yeah, and Caitlin was really active throughout the lesson and engaged, especially during the quizzes activities.
One thing that I was encouraged with Caitlin's participation, and I mentioned it in the reflection on the lesson plan journal, was that she does have a shy personality, and it does take a lot for her to become open, especially in a class setting. So for her to get out of her comfort zone and to complete those Kahoot and the quizzes activities, um, it was really big for me to be able to see that in her, and for her to just be confident in her own abilities.
I scored Hayden with the grading rubric, and I gave him 22 out of 24 points. I thought the lesson went really well, and I was pleased with the participation of the students. The only area that I think could have been improved on was the timing, and specifically at the end of the lesson.
One of the other things, like I mentioned, that the timing was definitely the weakness point. Um, the strength of the lesson was the ability to incorporate that technology and the questioning aspects. Um, I think at any time, if you're able to get students to respond to those higher level thinking questions, and for them to be able to conversate with one another about it, having that peer to peer interaction, I think is a great tool for them to utilize. Um, the IXL assessment, most of the students, they did score mastery in that, or they did score at least adequate in that. So they got to the 80%, which was the objective for the day. We use iExcel a lot in my classroom, and it's been really successful. So they've gotten used to that tool, um, and the PowerPoint questions. When I was able to go through the PowerPoint and have them um, not repeat the questions back to me, but to elaborate on the questions, I think that was um, really big for them to be able to justify their answers, whether they're talking about the multi-step equations or how they solved it, because they may solve it in a completely different way, but as long as they're able to justify their answers to me or to their peers, then they're completing the objective. Um, Overall, I thought it was a really good lesson. I liked the incorporation of the PowerPoint, the iExcel, um, and I was really pleased with the students' participation throughout the lesson. They were um, excited to do the activities, and I was just really pleased with their participation. That's it for the secondary video one. Thank you.